Guys, I've managed to do it again. I've managed to do it again. Can you believe that I have done it again? I am one of one. I am a hero. I am a legend. I have managed to do it again. I have managed to sit here for 10 minutes. Yeah? I've managed to sit here for 10 minutes, chatting to you guys, having conversations, and then realize that it didn't click and it didn't actually go live. And so I've been sat here chatting away. I've been doing stuff. William said, can you pin this comment? I was like, no problem. I can pin that, William. I said, William, are you getting people asking about being mods, are you? I was chatting away. I had people saying hello. I was like, how you doing? I was reading comments. Just had a whole conversation about, do we really think Gunther should lose just a month after the fact that he faced John Cena, tapped Cena out? I think it was Robbie maybe that mentioned that in the chat. And I was sat here and I was like, man, I just don't think so. I don't think he can. And we explored potential finishes for that match. And we dug into that. We did a preview for this show as well. I can already tell you, Carmen Petrovic against Callie Armstrong. Brandon or Braxton Cole against Marcus Mathers. We looked at the graphics. We sat here, we did a preview, we chatted in the chat, and then what happened was Boomers TV said this stream is going to begin shortly. And I was like, that's pretty funny, because we've been live for 10 minutes. And then when I looked at the top, the little button that takes it live had not clicked when I pressed it. And so we had actually not been live. So rather than me ranting and raving, getting annoyed, getting angry, losing my shiz, I am just talking through what has happened. This is therapy for me right now, because that's 10 minutes that you lot waited, wondering if I was drunk. I wish I was. And it was 10 minutes of me sitting here having a nice little chat that no one but me experienced. This has happened very, very rarely before. Very, very rarely before, right? This has happened. But 10 minutes is pretty good going. I'm not sure if that's the records. I probably should keep tabs, actually. Because I'm sure it'll happen again in the future. But, yeah, people were saying hello. I was chatting back. I was saying hello. I've literally been here all along. I hate my life. I hate my life. So, hello. Apologies. I feel a little bit better now that we've just kind of spoken through it. Got it off the chest. And 10 minutes. Thankfully, it wasn't the whole stream. Could you imagine if I had been sat here chatting away and just did not realize, and then at the very end saw that we had never been live? I mean, I've managed to go 10 minutes there without realizing. And it's only because of Boomers going, we'll be live soon, that I was like, that's pretty funny. Because we've been live 10 minutes. But it did prompt me to just go, we are live, aren't we? So, that's annoying. Let me go back, though, to what we were just saying about Gunther. Because I haven't heard anything on Gunther AJ. And the point I was just making was that I would be careful about having Gunther lose so soon after retiring John Cena, right? But equally, you can't really have AJ Styles lose because it's a retirement match. So I think you got to be very careful. Surely it can't be a clean finish. I mean, I don't think Gunther beating AJ clean really makes sense because AJ retiring in Saudi Arabia. I mean, why would you ever do that? Why would you have AJ Styles retire in Saudi Arabia? Why would you have him retire at the Royal Rumble event when the headline is going to be who won the Rumbles? You don't really want people more focused on, oh, AJ's retired. So none of it makes sense that will be where it ends. I think it makes a lot more sense that, we get past that and, we get to WrestleMania. I would imagine most of us are on the same page with that, right? But with Gunther having just tapped out John Cena, he can't really afford to take a loss just a month later. I know it's AJ, and I know that this will be a feud, but I don't know, man. How do you book this? I mean, it's got to be a screwy finish. I mean, I think I'm right in saying that Gunther has never lost a non-championship match. So, is this where, 1 month after beating John Cena, that's where you're going to have him lose his first main roster non-championship match? All of Gunther's losses have been in championship matches, but because I'm sure this was a stat they said during Saturday night's main event, he was 32-0, and that's probably now 33-0. So there's no belt on the line here. So are we really a month later gonna have him lose? What about if we go the time limit? What about if there's a 20-minute time limit and we go the time, we go the distance? What if it's a double count out? What if it's a draw in some regards? That way AJ doesn't retire, Gunther isn't beaten. I mean, honestly, this is where my head would be. I don't know why we would be having him lose so close. I do think the Gunther AJ thing is quite an interesting conversation, to be honest. Oh, do you know another conversation we had as well? We spoke about Evil, because it was mentioned in the chat earlier that Evil might be on his way. And I was like, don't know much about him, to be honest. I've seen a few of his matches in New Japan, but I'll be the first to say I don't know much about him. I only ever really watched Wrestle Kingdom, so I certainly saw him compete, but he was never, I think, when I was watching, high up the card. When I was watching, it was Takahashi, Okada, Omega, Naito. It was those, I think, Kota Ibushi, those names. Evil was certainly on the card, but he hadn't quite got to the top at that point. I think he might have had a run as IWGP champion. So if he is coming to WWE, that would be a surprise. We don't really know how to book Japanese male wrestlers. We're doing all right with Io, though. And obviously Asuka might have been the most successful we've ever had. Shinsuke, I mean, that's just not great, is it? He's been around a while and he's been on the main roster, and I don't know how he feels about his WWE run, but feels like we've left a lot on the table with Shinsuke. It feels like he should have been a world champion at the very least. He's never won a world championship in WWE. He's rarely fought for one, actually. So, yeah, that was a bit of a surprise when I read that Evil might be coming in. Do you know, the other thing we did as well is we had a look at the Wrestling Observer website. And on there, we just had a quick scan down the headlines. One of the headlines was that Logan Paul says that he's got a feeling that Vince could come in, just a funny feeling. Doesn't seem like it's actually based on anything. No evidence or whatever. Just a throwaway comment, really, from Logan. And I was saying, I've lived my life with a simple motto, and that is never believe Logan Paul. And I've stood by that my whole life. Even when I was a young kid, running around the streets of Stourbridge, I would often pass these words of wisdom on to my friends. Never believe Logan Paul. I was saying that all the way back in the 90s. So, he just says that he's got a feeling. Just like the Black Eyed Peas. And he is not got anything to back that up with. But because it's Vince being mentioned, it's still found its way onto the homepage of Wrestling Observer. And I think that's about it, really. There's not loads of news today. I mean, I think everyone's still recovering from Unreal, which I did manage to finish. And there was some interesting little bits at the end of season 5. The Lyra stuff, which got mentioned. She was very upset backstage. So, yeah, that's where I've been. That's what we've been talking about. Let's get to your thoughts. Word Life Cena said, Daze, AJ Lee says therapy works. Hey, look, no, I believe it does. Talking through things very much work, and I feel like I've managed to get it all off my chest now, so no ranting and raving here. Miss Dow Jr. said, I know you won't do UFC this Saturday, but do we have a favourite, like Paddy or Yudong, for the first UFC event? Don't know, but if I don't do it, I don't look into it. So, I mean, I love UFC and I try to follow it, but I certainly am not kind of looking at predictions or breakdowns or anything along those lines. So, you know, it's one of those where I will certainly want to know who's won and what the talking points were afterwards. But nah, my focus is Saturday night's main event and then Rumble. Casey said, if you want, I can flip out for the both of us. I'm having a pretty shiz day, said Casey. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, buds. Yeah, I feel a bit better now. Rob says, before he says bye for now, then he realized he's not broadcast. That'd be the worst, man. We've never done that. We have done it before where the button doesn't, like, I mean, the thing is that it's just part of a screen that you click, and I don't know, I mean, you can obviously, like, just move the mouse slightly, maybe just click off the button or whatever, and it doesn't actually engage it. It's very frustrating. So, frustrating for you as well, just sat there wondering where the flipper was. Frustrating for me, the fact that I was sat here. I mean, if I'm not going to be around, I'd like for it to be for a reason that is a bit more exciting than I didn't press the button correctly. Steve said it could be a match that ends in a Gunther DQ or other shenanigans that protect both of them for now and extend this feuds. He is done at the Rumble. Wishful thinking, says Tony. William said Gunther losing is as bad as someone like Brock losing at PLEs. He should be the monster. He still is. Rob said, I'm not a fan of Alan Jones, but for him to say I'm retiring in 2026 and then the first chance he gets this year, he retires, that's dumb. Like, flat earth dumb. William said, why protect Maxine and do Gunther dirty? Casual fans probably have no idea that Gunther is a shooter. Alex said, if there is anyone that I would want to come in from New Japan, it would be Gabe Kids. But I'm also happy that he might be going to AEW. Oh, I did hear that he was free, actually. WWE were apparently interested. But yeah, AEW definitely feels like a more logical landing spot for Gabe Kids. Glockness said in an interview last year, AJ Styles said that he didn't want to do a retirement tour, but he would rather just have one retirement match and be done. Chris said maybe AJ might think he's done, even though it doesn't really look that way. I thought I saw John say in an interview that AJ is done soon. Yeah, he did. It's this year. I think it was AJ himself that kind of said that this would be the year. So it's just a case of when, to be honest. I just don't buy that it's going to be the Rumble. I just don't buy it because it's over in Saudi. It's the Royal Rumble. The Rumble. Whoever wins the Rumble is going to be like the big talking points. Like AJ Styles retiring is just going to be, I mean, that should be a major talking point, and it would be. but you can't not talk about who won the Rumbles as well. So I don't know. I just sort of feel like none of it is right. It being over in Saudi Arabia and him not retiring in America is weird. It being at a Royal Rumble event is weird because the Rumbles, there's 2 of them, and they're going to be big news stories. So that's weird. And so all of it just sort of makes me think that this is not where it ends. I'm probably about 90-10 percentage-wise that this is not the end. So, I mean, and why would you get this close to WrestleMania as well? I mean, even if his body is, like, done and shot, are we really saying he hasn't got 2 matches in him? Like, if it is that bad, and he's like, I've got to end it, why would you not just save this one last match for Mania? I mean, if it is a case that it's like, oh man, I'm so done, the only thing would be if his body is so broken that he has got to have surgery and he can't delay it anymore. And so it ends at the Rumble because he has got to go to surgery. And he would have loved to have competed in TNA. He would have loved to have got to WrestleMania, but his body is just completely shot. It cannot carry on. But I'm not aware that that's the case. That would be the 10% doubt. So for me personally, I'm probably 90-10 that we get past Rumble. But yeah, we know the end is coming this year. And we know that it's going to wrap up. And you're right, he did say he didn't want like a big old retirement tour and all of that stuff. But I think we can certainly get through to WrestleMania. That's where it gets interesting for me. I don't know if he gets past Mania. I mean, does he make it to SummerSlam? Don't know. Does he get past the Rumble? Aaron said, what's interesting, Fightful have reported it was in October that AJ's contract's up in February. Unless it's got an extension, it could be at the Royal Rumble. Well, that's interesting. I'm trying to think if there's any examples of an extension. I can't really think of any off the top of my head. But WWE and AJ, I think that they would both want that to wrap up at WrestleMania. So, I mean, as long as they have an agreement, they could easily just sign a little summit that gets them to Mania. So it's interesting, but not enough to really change my mind on anything. I think this close to WrestleMania, I really don't know. It's Saudi as well. Why would you end it in Saudi? I mean, nothing against Saudi, but I mean, wouldn't you want to wrap it up in America? In front of, like, American fans? Yeah, I'm not buying it. Daze, Gunther Styles should end in a way where the match ends in a DQ on the outside in Styles' favor. Perhaps truth could save Styles. Dean said, if you had a chance, what championship belt would you bring back and why? I'd bring back a light heavyweight championship for the reasons we've said quite a few times. I think there needs to be a world title for smaller guys because I think there's some amazing talent and I think there is a glass ceiling. I think it's very hard for Johnny Gargano, maybe even an Ilya Dragunov, but I think because of his intensity, he will get there. But look at the struggles that Sami Zayn has had. You know, look at the struggles Finn Balor has had. Finn Balor's been a world champ for 24 hours. Sami Zayn has never won that title. Rey Mysterio did get world titles, but, you know, it's a large part of that was down to Eddie passing and a lot of emotion. You know, if you look at his career, has he been a world champion? You know, if Rey Mysterio is regarded by many to be the greatest mass wrestler of all time, has he had enough world championship runs and reigns that represent that? I would say no, not in WWE. Now, I know not everyone can be champion. I'm aware of that. You know, not everyone can be champion because people have long reigns. But it does feel disproportionate that the bigger guys get the reins and the smaller guys struggle. And I think, we have to concede and agree that the airport test is real. That, if you look at a Sami Zayn, he looks like your next door neighbor. You look at Roman Reigns, he looks like a flipping god from a different world. And there is value to that, real value, like serious dollar value to how you look. And that obviously forms part of your presentation. It's easy to get a Hogan who's like 6 whatever, blonde, jacked. It's easy to get him as the face of the company and multiple time champion than it is to do something with, I don't know, flipping the Red Rooster, Terry Taylor, right? Or Sami Zayn, or Johnny Gargano, or Nathan Frazier, or blah, 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 blah. The list goes on. But the talent with those smaller guys is better. I mean, Ilya against Johnny Gargano is going to be a banger. Ilya against Carmelo was a banger. Sami Zayn, Ilya was a banger. I mean, you can put like Ray in there with Sami, Ray in there with Ilya, Ilya in there with Carmelo. Like, we've got this LaFleur guy who's only had one match, looked really good. Once he's got, like, a few tweaks and whatnot, and we get the promo going and we put him in some interesting stories, I would change his ring gear personally. It's not a biggie. But, let's flesh out the character. Let's learn a bit more about him. Let's get his promo game going. Get him more experience. He could make it to the main roster. And, Javon Evans. I mean, I don't know where you would set it. 210. I mean, maybe it goes up from 205, 220. Maybe you make it so that quite a few people can compete for it. But I just think like a world light heavyweight championship, there's value to that. Because I think the matches would bang. And I think then, like, as long as they are recognized as legit world titles, as world champions, and it's open to everyone, and it's counted as a world title, I think there's really something there. And I have done for a long time. And I think WWE do as well. Because they did the whole Cruiserweight Classic thing back in 2016, 10 years ago, which was a big thing because they gave it its own show, Cruiserweight Classic, on the network. They brought in the likes of Zack Sabre Jr. They brought in the likes of Kota Ibushi. I mean, they did go around the world to try and bring in the best cruiserweights in the world. They put them in a tournament. We got down, crowned the winner, TJ Perkins, and we were off. Then all of a sudden, Cruiserweight started having their own show. This is where 205 Live came from, which then would become NXT Level Up, which I suppose in a way then became the Evolve that we're going to watch tonight. But, it started being 205 Live, and it had its own belts. It had its own division. It had its own color. Raw was red. SmackDown was blue. 205 Live was purple. And again, actually something that's kind of remained with Evolve, color-wise. So this is a very topical topic because we're watching the show that kind of evolved from all of that. So, yeah, that belt for me, I'd be really interested in exploring that. The reason as to why that did not work is because it had its own division. The division was lacking star power. So if you was the Cruiserweight champion, you was the best of this group of people. But what was confusing was that there were similar size people on Raw and SmackDown that weren't in that division. Plus it had its own show, 205 Live, which, didn't get crazy views. It was like, main event. It was kind of like Evolve. It was kind of a show that was off to the side. So you've got a separate roster that's lacking star power on a separate show that people aren't really watching. The belt is not regarded as a world title. And is anyone surprised that did not work? I mean, to me, you just get a belt that's open to everyone, that lives on Raw and SmackDown. It can go between both shows, and it can go down to NXT. Go wherever, right? Completely just free to roam, go wherever. And I would have that belt. And I might even lose one of the world titles so that we don't have too many belts. You know, you could have your WWE Heavyweight Championship, your WWE Light Heavyweight Championship, and that's it. And maybe that is, maybe that tidies a few things up. So, yeah. A bit of an obvious one there because we have spoke about that before, but that's the reason why. Daze, do we think that WrestleMania season has begun yet? Yes. Or do we think that it won't kick off till Rumble? I think we need a big moment at the Rumble. We need moments at the Rumble, definitely, but I think it's kicked off, yeah. I always feel like January is the unofficial start, but this year, with Drew winning the championship, and actually some of the quality of the shows being strong, really strong, I've actually been quite impressed with how the shows feel just better from a pacing wise and a storytelling wise. I feel like there's more, I don't want to use the word effort, but it does feel like there's more effort. It does feel like there's more talking points. They might not be massive, but, you know, we're moving pieces around and we're doing some stuff. And it feels like there's stories that are happening. And, you know, a key indicator for me is that whenever the show finishes, I don't struggle with, what am I going to use as my thumbnail? Like, I know what my thumbnail is. But actually, you know, last year, there's times where I'm like, there isn't really much, you know? There's just not really much that I can really think to go with. Whereas we've started the year with championship matches, title change, title changes actually with Becky and Maxine, and because I think that was this year, wasn't it? And we had that was on that show, and we also had the Drew Cody 3 stages of hell. We've had some great matches, some really good in-ring work as well. I've said before, I think if you're gonna criticize WWE, then hopefully that's coming from the right place. I think there's people out there that criticize WWE because they don't like WWE and they don't want to see it succeed. But I'm a WWE fan. I want it to work, but I know that I'm such a fan that I'm going to be here tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day, right? So if I say something's not good in my eyes, then, I mean, clearly I'm being honest because I'm a WWE fan. It doesn't really serve me any benefit to criticize. But if there's something that I'm like, it's not very good, I'm saying that not because I don't like WWE, but because it's not very good. And here's the reason why, yeah? But when the show is good, I will be amongst the front of the queue to go, that's great. That's great. That's better. And here's why. So, like, we know why things are not good. And hopefully we know why things are good. I mean, I suppose what I'm saying is we know what we're watching. We know not only if it's good or bad, but the reasons as to why it's good or bad. Now, I do question a little bit of that on social media, actually. I do question that. I do question because sometimes, you know, you see like a bad show and you see people criticizing it. But then you see a good show and there's people criticizing it. And you're like, but there has been definite improvement. Like, I think Maxine, for example, had her best match. I'm not a Maxine fan, as you know. Nothing against her, but I was not a fan of the Intercontinental Championship run. And I know this keeps coming up. But I thought she had her best match the other day. And so I actually went to Cage Match. And I had a look to see what it had been scored as. Because I was like, how did other people feel about it, right? You lot weren't crazy about it either, actually. You gave it good 89. But I couldn't really fault it in the sense of there was a kick that looked a little bit off, but, you know, that could just be a camera thing. But her work was pretty tidy and the pace was quite good. Normally when we criticize, it's because things look off. But nothing was looking really off in this match. It felt like they had been working together quite a bit, which they have. And it felt like they were very comfortable together. And it felt like a perfectly acceptable match. Nothing mind-blowing, but good 93, good 94, that sort of range. But when I looked on Cage Match, it once again was like 5 point something out of 10. And I was like, either I'm wrong, right? And there's no improvement there, which I feel like it was a tight match. Pacing was good. I can't tell you why people didn't see that. I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes it does make you go, is it me? Because that did feel like her best match. But then you look at the community score and you look at the score on Cage Match and it's still down. So you go, I don't really get this. I don't understand. Is it, perhaps it's me? Perhaps it wasn't. Perhaps I was being too kind to Maxine. I don't know. So that was a weird one. And the other weird one was on the member stream the other day. It was mentioned that I had been critical of Becky Lyra from SummerSlam. I didn't recall it at first, but it's the one where Lyra's hand comes loose and then she like reties it, right? And I remember there just being a lot of sloppy botches in that. And I do remember criticizing it. And that featured in Unreal in episode 5. And so I was like, I wonder what that got on Cage Match. And I looked on Cage Match and that got 6 points something out of 10. And I'm like, this doesn't make any sense whatsoever. How did that match, where Lyra clearly has her hands loose, but then like tries to pretend they're, and then she can't get the thing off, and the spots that look awkward. I mean, the thing is a car crash. How did people go online and give that 6 points something out of 10? So I don't know. I mean, the only thing I can say is that the criticisms that come from me come from an honest place. The praise that comes from me comes from an honest place. So if I see something and it's good, I'm going to say it's good. I'm going to say why. If I see something and it's bad, I'm going to say it's bad, and I'm going to say why. And I kind of feel like with WWE this year, I have seen an improvement. I think it is better than a lot of what we were getting in 2025. I think the storytelling has improved. I feel like there are more talking points dotted throughout the show. I feel like there's been some bigger moments. And as a result, it does feel to me like an improvement on 2025. And I already look at January as like an unofficial start to the WrestleMania, like road to WrestleMania. But because it's been a bit more engaging as well recently, with some OMG moments, I really feel like we're on the road to WrestleMania. Yeah. So when we get to the Rumble, I would expect the Rumble to have moments. I mean, I think there's a good chance you get Jericho. I think there's a good chance maybe Powerhouse Hobbs, maybe Paige, Soraya, right? I don't know. I do think you'll get some stuff. I don't think you'll get loads. I think anyone that's going into the Rumble thinking you're going to get that, that's not how the Rumble ever works. You don't get that with the Rumble. The Royal Rumble is always a case that you get a few things. And it makes sense, doesn't it? Because, again, I'm going to go back to what I said before about AJ. You don't want the fans talking about too many different things after. Otherwise, nothing's going to get remembered. Like, you have to have a limit to the returns and the surprises. You have to. Otherwise, it's like, that happened, that, oh God, and that happened. And was there anything else? And like all of a sudden, none of it hits as hard because it was just another thing that happened. So what you want is you just want a couple of things, maybe 3, 4 things, maybe 2 in the men, 2 in the women, and you kind of, you don't go mental. I mean, there's people out there that would love every number to be a surprise and a return and all that kind of stuff. And listen, if you was to do that, it might be one of the most fun balls of all time. But I don't know what it's necessarily going to do for the people that were in it, because they'll get a pop and a moment, but it will be instantly eclipsed and not forgotten, but moved on from when the next person comes out and you get a big pop and, oh my God, they're here as well now. And who's coming next? All of a sudden, the guy or girl that came out 5 entries ago, forget about it, do you know? This is mental. Who's coming out now? We're not even focused on them anymore. So from a creative point of view, you don't want that. You want to put the spotlight on someone. You want it to stay on them. You want it to, elevate them, shine on them. So, yeah, I think you'll get a few things, but I wouldn't expect loads. And I would also go into it slightly with the expectation that you're going to be disappointed, actually. It's a Saudi Rumble. Never had one of them before. I think there'll be a lot of pyro and razzmatazz, but we've had a greatest Royal Rumble in Saudi, and that was disappointing. So I'm going to go into it thinking it's the Rumble. I'm looking for it to be fun. I'm going to go in with optimism, and I'm going in hoping we get something. Give me something. If it's Jericho, I'll take it, right? I'll definitely take it. That'll be great. I'll take Jericho. If we get anything more than that, like a Powerhouse Hobbs or a Soraya, Page, whatever, amazing. I really wouldn't expect much more than that. And I think if you're hoping for more than that, I think you probably should expect to be disappointed because, as I said, you don't want all these surprises getting in each other's way. So, yeah, I feel like we're on the road to it. I'm looking forward to the Rumble. I'm also keeping it realistic and not trying to get too carried away with my expectations. Harry said 4 months of being a member. Hope you are well. Harry Carpenter, thank you, my friends. And King Notorious. Adam, shout out to you, buds. Says a tip for the tip jar. I still haven't sorted out a new chair, and I've got bits continuing to flipping fall off. I mean, my arm thing now is just like absolutely shredded. So, yes, it is going to happen. It is going to happen. I'm tired of just having little bits around. My other thing fell off, didn't it, before? I don't even know where that's gone now, actually. I don't even know where one of the pieces has gone. But my arm no longer raises. It just falls back down immediately. Where did that go, actually? I don't know. It's knackered anyway. I can tell you that will also be going to the new chair fund. So thank you, King Notorious. Really appreciate it, dude. And appreciate everyone that's joining us this evening. We've got 8 minutes to go, friends. 8 minutes to go. Seeb said, did you see that report that Evil could be coming in, potentially debuting? I remember he got brought up a few weeks back. I'm a journalist now, says Seeb. Yeah, it got mentioned earlier in the stream. I don't know loads about him, honestly. So I'm interested to see what comes of that. I think, did he used to be in a relationship with EO? I think he might have used to have been in. I wonder if they're in a relationship again or something. I wonder if that's a reason. Don't know. It would seem so logical that he would go to AEW, wouldn't it? Well, it would seem logical to me that he would go to AEW. So, yeah, we'll have to see. That'll be an interesting one. I'm surprised that he's picking WWE because, like, they don't have the best record with, like, Japanese male competitors. So I'm surprised. So, yeah, let's see. Wayne said you could buy a lot of duct tape with $20. That chair could last another year at least. The back's gone on it as well. The other thing as well is that whenever I get up, I kind of put a lot of weight on this arm. So that arm is now starting to do this. The back, I really feel like it was a lot more upright and now it's quite loose. I have tried tightening the thing. I think the whole thing has just got very... Do you know what I mean? I think the whole thing is just like... And then I've got bits coming off as well, so... Listen, if I could avoid having to spend money on a new chair, I would be definitely willing to try that. But one thing that I really am a bit worried about is my back, because I have started to feel like some like pains in my back. And I think it is from like sitting as long as I do. And I just don't think I'm getting the right support in this thing. So it is on the agenda, to be honest. Adjikar said, Daze Smack Talks report that a coach of WWE, aka an ECW legend, will be in 2K26. Thank you. Akeem said, those bits of the chair, eBay gold. Oh my god, you're right. I could sell this to the community. Guys, you could have a piece of the Wrestling Daze chair. I'll put it in a frame and everything. Be amazing. I'll put a picture at the top. Little thing. It'd be like when I bought the dirt from WWE. I bought dirt from the Boneyard match in a little capsule. And it doesn't even look the right colour, to be honest with you. But they did actually do that once. I think it's a really fun item, actually. Dirt from the ground, from the Boneyard match, in a little capsule, on a plaque, sold officially on the WWE website. As soon as they dropped, I was in. Days and chat. Is Maxine better than Summer Rae? She's got a similar look and builds. I would say that they are about the same now. I would have said Summer Rae was better before. But as I just said, I think her last match against Becky was her best match that I've seen her have. And I do think she's putting the work in. I mean, she goes to the dungeon and she works NXT live events occasionally. I would imagine that she's at the PC quite a bit as well. I really feel like she is someone that's been given this opportunity and she is doing everything she can to maximize it, you know? I got a lot of praise for that. Again, I have to keep saying it. The Maxine conversation, I just can't escape it. It keeps coming up, but it's not about her as a person that's the problem. It's about anyone that is not quite at the required level for the main roster getting given an Intercontinental Championship. You know, that was my issue. So, but take all of that out of the equation. I believe she's trying to do everything she can to, you know, fit in on the main roster. So I think there is real improvement there. If you go back a few years, look at her work, compare it to what she's doing now, you know, you'd see that improvement. So I would say that Summer Rae was not bad, actually. She could get in there and do a few things. She was, I think, am I right in saying she was a cheerleader as well? I don't think she was a gymnast. Or maybe a fitness model. But she had, like, some agility. And, you know, she could do some throws and get in there. Maybe Maxine, I don't remember a Summer Rae performance as good as the one Maxine did on Monday. Maybe Maxine is pulling ahead of Summer Rae now, but I'd need to see a bigger sample size. I'd need to see her. Let's see how she looks in this Natalya feud. Let's see how she looks there. But she might be, you know, a little bit more in line / starting to just move ahead now. The chat pieces that have Daze DNA, we could clone you. Let's go. Steve said, why do you always stress on buying a chair? We have birthdays. We ask a family member to buy one for your birthday. No, they're expensive. Chairs are really expensive. This one was $200 and it's cheap. Like a chair, I understand the comment, but you would think that a chair like would be 100, 200 something. No, they go to like 1,000 plus. And I've watched videos on them, and they're like, there's experts that are like, can't really recommend anything 200 or below. You might find some on Amazon, But really, if you want even a half decent chair, you got to go like 400. And it's like, it's crazy, man. And like the top end chairs, you know, your steel case Leaps, your Herman Millers, yeah, all of those things. Yeah, your Hemworth Ferns. They're all like 1,000 plus. And so it's like, because I use it every day, I don't want to mess around with it. I don't want to like just buy a cheap thing that's going to just, because this was 200, which I didn't think was cheap. But, you know, it kind of feels like I need to watch my back. I need to make a wise investment here. So this is a big purchase. I ain't got that kind of money to just chuck around. We're talking serious saving, serious moolah. We're talking fabulous moolah. That's what we're talking. It's wrestling related. Right, I'm going to start going with the coverage in a second. We've got 1 minute to go. Counting down. 1,000 for a chair. That is crazy, says a C. I know. I've only just got over it myself. Okay, we're underway. To be. Okay, apparently this video file is 45 minutes long. 45 minutes long, and I am 18 seconds in, so we are underway with Evolve. What about shopping at a discount gaming chair? Well, the thing with gaming chairs is apparently they're not ergonomic. They are more bucket seats because of people like doing racing games and needing to stay in a certain position. So gaming chairs are not ideal apparently for streaming. Long sessions of streaming, you need like proper ergonomic office chairs. Trust me, I've looked into it. It's really dull. Here's Carmen Petrovich. To me, you've just been coasting. So this is interesting. She's cutting a promo outside the PC. Yeah, I don't mind that. I kind of like us going to some different locations. It's not that different. It's just out the front. She's just sort of walking on the pavement. You can see a little bit of grass, some buildings in the background. Visually, it's just a little bit different than being inside a warehouse. Right, there is the Evolve ring. We're at the Performance Center. Yes! Grey Graps! Yes! Oh, we don't normally go over to Mr. Stone and Pete Rosenberg, but that's interesting. Oh my god, this is like what we do on Raw and SmackDown when we go to the commentators. Carmen Petrovich against Callie Armstrong. Oh, Wendy Choo coming out. Okay, she's coming out. She's got a big smile on her face. She's not wearing the onesie anymore. She's just got gear now, though. Very similar to every other girl. Do we know what to do with Wendy Choo? She is constantly evolving. She's still doing a lot of mannerisms and everything that she was doing before, and she's still got that sort of moody entrance that she had before. Oh, it's a promo? Okay, it's a Wendy Choo promo. Okay. Unbothered, unfiltered, and unapologetic. Unbothered, unfiltered, unapologetic. Okay, so Wendy said, I'm going to call out Kendall Gray, the person you lot can blame for me now never shutting up again. It's Grey Graps. It is. Here's Grey Graps. Oh, well, what's going on, Chewie? What's up? I'll defend this title right now, says Kendall. Chewie came out and he was like, you meant to have a week off? I mean, did they not see that she was in the building in her wrestling gear already? And then literally a moment later, a referee comes out and goes, Kendall, this match is official. It's like, okay, right, well, all of this has happened. Okay, Kendall and Wendy, looks like they're going to throw down. Could we get a title change here? I mean, I feel at some point we've got to get this belt off Kendall because Grey Graps lives on NXT now. But this is opening the show, so that's making me think no. Unless they're going to give it us as like a, oh my God, this has happened. What if I got you an air ride semi-truck legacy seat? I could rig it up with an electric air pump. Plug it in the wall, it goes up and down. That's the way to go, says William. An air ride semi-truck legacy seat. Oh. I actually want to Google that because it sounds amazing. Air ride semi-truck legacy seats. Oh, that's nice. Actually not that expensive, you know. Even these ones are just over 1,000. Oh, that's nice. That's a lovely looking seat. That is the good stuff right there. That is the good stuff. I'm gonna right, the bell has sounded. We are underway. It says we are here for you. Thank you. There it is. Look. There it is. That's the Legacy Silver HB Air semi-truck. Black cloth. You know, 1,100. It's a good deal. It's a good deal. I would just need the rest of the truck then. Right, Kendall round the back of Wendy. She gets taken down. Wendy charging over into Kendall, who's in the corner. Big boot. Word Life said, do we think WWE will sign Mr. Iguana and put him in the Rumble match? Well, they don't need to sign him to put him in the Rumble match. They're working with... They've already got, like, I think 40-odd% ownership of AAA. So they've got an agreement where they can use that AAA talent. So, yeah, I mean, if they want to put him in the Rumble, they can put him in the Rumble. The word the other day was that Vikingo was the only one under a WWE contract. So if they want to take Vikingo and put him on Raw forever, they can. They can't do that with Mr. Iguana, to my knowledge. I mean, they probably could if they just got it arranged with the other owners of AAA. I'm not sure the other owners would put up too much of a fight, but yeah, with Vikingo, they can do whatever they want. With Mr. Iguana, they could absolutely use him in the Rumble. Right, we've gone to commercial break as we just had Wendy sentoning to the outside, cannonballing to the outside. I thought Wendy Choo's old character was fine, said Akeem. She could have been with Alexa or the Wyatts. Michael, shout out to you. I think Wendy should be champ, said Who Review. Well, I feel like we need to do a poll. I don't know which way this is going. Who leaves as champion? I'm thinking it's Grey Graps. Is it Kendall or is it Wendell? Kendall or Wendell? King Yeti, shout out to you. Said, here, this is for your Sean Legacy chair. Oh my God, guys, we are so close. We are so close to buying a truck chair. I might be like... Okay, I can't get back up now. This chair does actually have that feature, but now I can't actually get back up because I'd have to stand up. And we are actually back to the action. So... right now, we had Wendy trying to get Kendall up. Nice. Small package, down she goes. Going for the cover. 1, 2, no joy. Little bit messy there as they're trying to do a little intricate pin spot. But no joy. Both kicking at the same time. So yeah, King Yeti, thank you, my friends. Appreciate it. Clothesline. Both go down. A short days. Does this... And it goes back as well. Oh, do you know what? I can really feel that in my back when I lie on it. I might need to go to a chiropractor, actually. Shot coming in by Wendy. So, yeah, King Yeti, thank you, my friends. Chop coming in there by Wendy. Big boot coming back there by Kendall. She's really unloading. Shot coming back there by Wendy. Right in the boob. Kick to the midsection. Duck underneath. Round the back. Looking for a German. Kendall gets it. The straps are coming down by Kendall Gray. Gray charging over, taking the legs away there by Wendy. She's going to go up and over. She stomps down. Wendy in the middle of the ring. Kendall, 1, 2. Kick out there by Wendy. Yeah, that double stomp's great when she goes over that top rope. Comes crashing down and it hurts inside. Right now she's got Wendy on her shoulders. Wendy back down, backing over in the corner. I wonder if Wendy... There's no way Wendy in kayfabe thought that Kendall was going to accept to the match right now. Kendall, middle of the ring, looking for a net breaker. Gets it. Wendy, 1, 2. Kendall kicks out. Kicks out. Drama at the start of Evolve this week. Championship match unannounced. I did wonder actually what the third match was going to be, because normally there's 3 matches and they only announced 2. So I did wonder what this third match was going to be. Wendy. Word Life Cena fan said, what store are you going to get your new chair from? Depends on the chair, doesn't it? The one that they say is the best is the Steelcase Leap. But that is like over 1,000 on Amazon. And I'm like, it might be better to just get a refurbished one instead, but there's not loads of options in the UK, unfortunately, for like refurbished chairs. Wendy going for the cover to kick out there by Kendall. Super kick, mate, right on the button. Right on the button. Kendall. Wendy. I like Wendy as well. Kendall going up. Well, open palm shot there by Wendy. Wendy climbing up, looking for a superplex. Nice. Going through. Oh, like a brain buster. Blimey now, 1, 2. Oh, mate, I did wonder if that was going to be the moment. Yeah, big superplex, followed by what looked like a suplex, but she actually drove her down into like a brainbuster. Right now, we got Kendall trying to get back up to her feet. Wendy Choo round the back, sleeper hold in. Kick, grabs the leg. Big chop coming in. Champ's got all kinds of troubles here. Oh, reversed. Lovely. Shades of Grey is gonna do it for Grey Graps. Really good contest. Good little contest, that. Well done, everyone. Well done, Kendall. Well done, Wendy. Well done, the crowds. Well done, everyone in the chat. Well done, me. Well done to the referee. Kendall. Daze, you need a good old American import chair with the new tariffs. I think there was some movement on all that today, wasn't there? Don't know what the hell's going on with all of that, but it's pretty wild. Match scores. Kendall. Hey, Kendall. Carmen. So we're just hearing from Callie. You must have forgot. I already ran through you once. And it won't be no different tonight. All gas, no brakes! Oh my god, she's all gas, no brakes! That's not her thing! Psychic, what's this? Guys, what's this? I'm loving it. Is this going to be Nikita? That's a lion. This is her vibe. Yeah. It was her vibe. We knew it was her vibe. So, Nikita and Ariana. Who the hell's she? There's a psychic? This is better than what we get on Raw. Oh. What's happening? Oh. Oh, yeah. Oh. Ariana's like, is that... Darkness. Let's ask the cards. Ten of Swords. Okay. Death card. The Tower. Destruction. The Tower means destruction. It's one of the wildest things we've seen ever on Evolve. Ever. Wah! Wah! Ah! They're freaking out. They got the Tower cards. You must change your ways. Well, that was fun, wasn't it? Kind of. Seeing them two freaking out, like, do you remember? Oh, God, why don't we do stuff like this on Raw and SmackDown? We could have had some real good fun doing stuff with, say, Chalexa. Do you know what I mean? Like, every time Alexa had a card drawn, it could be lovely, the angel card. Every time Charlotte got a card, it was the devil, the demon. We could have done something like that. We could have done something like that. Hang on, I'm coming back. Back streets, back, all right. Oh. King Notorious said that was fun. Have they been watching these streams doing tarot pulls like Sunny? Oh my God, was that Sunny? No, because she didn't mention that she's got poetry books on Amazon, to be honest. If that was Sunny, I'm sure she would have got that in there somewhere. Congratulations to the newest members of the NXT roster: Eli Knight, Keanu Carver, Super Sean Legacy, and the Vanity Project. This place ain't going to be the same without the Vanity Project. What are we meant to do without the Vanity Project? They're saying they've still got some unfinished business. And that's true, actually, because Jackson Drake is the Evolve champion. Right, we've still got 2 matches to go here. We've had a championship match. And now Marcus Mathers. Okay. You lot said that first match was good 100. You enjoyed it. You embraced it. You brought it to your bosom. You allowed it to suckle. Thank you. Okay, Mathers versus Braxton Cole. We got Team ID. Team ID watching on backstage. Sonny's doing readings on Evolve. Okay, Marcus Mathers in the ring. Here's Braxton Cole. As soon as I see white and blue together like that, maybe not so much his screen, but just those smaller screens in the audience, it looked like he was Scottish. Blue and white together, immediately my brain goes, Scottish. But he's not Scottish. That's the irony. There's Team PC. So this is meant to be like a Team ID versus Team PC type showdown. Braxton Cole is just walking around the ringside area, just not getting much love. Ivy League. Right. Let's go. Superior Green said wrestling is fake. Okay, Bella sounded. We are underway. Oh, yeah, we do have that takeover show coming up because the PC team won, didn't they? That gauntlet match. Shot coming in there by Marcus Mathers. We got Braxton Cole over against the ropes. Mathers, middle of the ring, duck underneath. Drop kick there by Mathers. And again, Braxton Cole goes over against the ropes. Grabs a hold of Mathers and hurls him into the corner. Braxton Cole coming in. I don't remember seeing much of Braxton Cole. We've seen a fair bit of Marcus Mathers, though. He gets pulled down off the corner. Braxton against the ropes. Nice net breaker. And Marcus Mathers goes down. Braxton Cole coming over. Grabbing Mathers and driving him some elbows to the side of the heads. I should get some more cleaning done, says Jennifer. Mother Nature is being a pain this week. Jennifer, hope you will. Main event should be 3-on-1, says Punk Spike. Elbow coming in. Main event should be 3-on-1. Isn't that main event Callie against Carmen? Braxton going for the cover and kick out. Daze, do we think Kendall should get called up to the main roster or NXT? NXT. NXT. Definitely. She needs experience, doesn't she? She needs to be like going to takeover shows. She needs to be performing in front of big crowds. She needs to be, you know, the NXT champ, women's champ, like cutting regular in-ring promos and having high-profile matches where you got loads of spots you need to remember. I mean, I think Evolve is great at preparing people better for when they get called up to NXT. I think Evolve serves a real purpose, honestly. I mean, you've got all this talent that's not quite at the NXT level. And here you can get them on TV. The pressure of having a camera, working a camera. I mean, don't forget, when you're just training, you kind of know where your hard cam is or where it's meant to be, but it's not actually there. So with this, you know, you're having to work cameras, make sure you're getting your facials across, make sure that you're engaging a crowd. You know, something else that's missing, you know, when you're going through the motions in the PC is you don't have like an audience. So there's so many things that Evolve can help with development. And then, of course, you take these and you just take them to the next level in front of a bigger crowd on a bigger platform, involving things like Stand and Deliver and those kind of shows that are in arenas. So it's just, you know, you're taking those natural steps. I certainly wouldn't bypass that and just go, here's Raw. So, yeah, she's on a journey, but she's going to be a great, great future star. Bang. Plus, I think NXT needs the help as well. It's lost Jordan Grace and Julia and Stephanie, and there's rumors that Sol Ruka might not be around in NXT for much longer. She might go to the main roster. Duck underneath. Mathers against the ropes over the other sides. Bang. Down goes Braxton. I call him for anywhere from 6 to 18 of snow. Oh, really? Quite moody way. It's been very rainy here, to be honest. Nice German. Keeps it on, but Braxton kicks out. Do we think Santos has re-signed to a AAA deal and not a WWE deal? No, word on the street was it was a WWE deal. So I think they want to use him in AAA, but I believe it's a WWE deal. Days Raw on Monday, NXT Tuesday, Evolve on Wednesday, SmackDown Friday. Thursday has no show. What type of show would we do on a Thursday? Would it be main roster or NXT? It's a good question. Oh. I think that you could do an all-women show. That's something that's been spoken about before. People are really interested in women's wrestling. I think actually women are doing some really great work at the moment, but it doesn't feel like the women are still quite getting as much TV time as the guys. Although, you know, in recent years since the pandemic, I'd say that has shifted once again. But for the longest time, there's been thoughts of maybe doing an all-women's show. I could vibe with that, to be honest. You'd still keep women on Raw and SmackDown. But maybe you could do a little summit that was just an all-women's show. I think I would want it... I think I'd want it to be main roster. We've already got Evolve and NXT. We're working with AAA and TNA. I kind of feel like developmental is box ticked. So if we were to have another roster show, I think maybe have it as main roster. You could go ECW. You could have something a little bit more extreme. The only problem with that, though, is that it'd have to just live on its own, because that would have to be PG-14. It would not be able to be PG like the other shows. So that could be interesting. An ECW type show that's got a bit more of an extreme element. Whoa. So a distraction on the outside, and Braxton Cole picks up the win. Frustration for Team ID. Nothing is going their way at the moment, is it? Nothing is going their way. So Braxton Cole looked okay. There wasn't really much to that. It was just a tidy little match, really. Braxton Cole laying out Marcus Mathers. Oh, that's kind of clever. The door is seemingly locked, so they are beating up and attacking Marcus Mathers. And the door has been locked. Gods. ID are just flipping useless, aren't they? Not only did they not win the gauntlet match, not only have they now lost this match, they've also been bullied and locked in their own locker room so they can't come and help. Blimey now. So the PC celebrate him. This is kind of one of the main stories on Evolve, is this kind of ID versus PC thing, which isn't really connecting for me, to be honest. But I'm not down on them giving it a go. Okay. So Brooks Jensen wants Cappuccino Jones next week. Oh, he's really fired up here. Okay. I just don't care. I just don't care about ID versus... What does it matter to me? I'm into this, though. Carmen Petrovic against Callie Armstrong. Big Tony K said it's Wednesday. You know what that means. Another episode of Dynamite. You know me. I'm an AEW fan. Well, I would hope so, Tony. I'll be back new day and next day. We know what we're seeing every time. Let's go, says Big Tony K. Sieb said, have you seen a lot of David Finlay? Can't say I have, no. He's rumoured to be coming in next month. No, honestly, my New Japan viewing is, well, 0. I didn't even watch Wrestle Kingdom this year. When that whole sort of, when AEW started and they, you know, the Bucks left and Omega left and all of that, really, New Japan struggled. I mean, they really struggled during the pandemic. Really struggled. I mean, they had 2 really major moments happen. The formation of AEW and then the pandemic, they just got battered. And I just haven't watched since then. I don't think I'm alone, to be honest. I know that this year's Wrestle Kingdom was meant to be like a bit of a relaunch, a bit of a we're back kind of a thing. Experience it live, AAA. So, no, I've heard of him, though, and I know that he has done some really good stuff over there, so let's see. Daze, how you doing? I'm doing good. Thanks, buds. Kyle, shout out to you. Hope you're well. We've just got a flipping WrestleMania advert right now. WrestleMania advert. How long is left, actually? We have got about 14 minutes. 14 minutes. We had a good opening match. Then we did the whole IDPC thing, which I'm not bothered by. But now we got Carmen Petrovic against Callie Armstrong. So we're just seeing it's that one of those where it's the different athletes, different comedians and celebrities. A I love all those belts in the background. This is going to be a long road to WrestleMania, says Trips. Look at those belts. Look at them. What an amazing display that is. The light underneath the one doesn't work, though. He needs to get that looked at. He's got a shelf and, like, lights and... Who's this? Looks like Rowan. It's not Rowan, though. Yeah, even Harlem Lewis doesn't care. Team ID, Team PC, they can fight amongst themselves. I'm fighting for gold. Harlem Lewis. Go. 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 Too strong. Armstrong. Too strong. Armstrong. Here she comes. Callie Armstrong. This should be a good match. I'm here for this. Karma Petrovic has got plenty of NXT experience, but finds herself in Evolve. And Callie Armstrong, the first Evolve Women's Champion, in our main event. 2 top women in the Evolve division going up against each other. Both have shown they've got great ability, and this should be fun. Here's Carmen. David Finlay did good in the Bullet Club. He had some good matches when he was over there. Sean, thank you. Daze, in your adulthood of watching, has there been one work that WWE did that you thought was real, but they shocked you? Was there a work? They don't really do that many, to be honest. I mean, things like the Ruse of the Century with Seth. Are quite few and far between. I'm trying to think of, like, other examples. There's not one that comes to mind. I mean, the Seth one... I don't know. I mean, like, you just don't really... You don't really believe... You're kind of waiting at SummerSlam for the music to hit, you know? And I think it might have even leaked that. Well, I can't remember if it leaked or not in advance. There's not one that comes to mind. Can anyone think of one where there was a work and it was like... Oh... Mark Henry. So Mark Henry with the retirement, out of nowhere, he said that he'd got a big announcement to make on the show, and there was talk, there was like rumors, like, you know, that it was going to be a retirement thing, and it was like really out the blue, but that made it a little bit more believable, actually. Because, like, it wasn't like the stuff he'd been doing and whatever. It wasn't. You could understand that, like, his career was like coming to an end, and that, yeah, this makes sense. So with that one, it's like, what's this? And you go in, and the delivery of that whole segment was so good. The thing is, though, you always watch with a bit of doubt, you know. But with Mark Henry, I mean, that was one where I was like, yeah, this feels like it's happening. And then it swerves, you go, oh, damn it. So, yeah, the Mark Henry fake retirement, the salmon jacket. I'll go with that. Callie is down on the ground with Carmen on her back. Carmen going for a cover. Back elbow there by Callie. Callie with a big boot to the midsection. Carmen, knee coming in, spins around, charges over, gets picked up. 1, 2, kick out. Carmen again grabbing a hold of Callie. Next Wednesday, we've got a 3-on-1 handicap match. Jackson Drake against Keanu Carver, Harley Riggins, and Jax Presley. Also, next week, we got Brooks Jensen against Cappuccino Jones. Knee to the midsection there by Callie. Carmen Petrovic is getting Callie down. Rent-Free says, if WCW never went out of business in 2001, do we think the Attitude Era would have lasted longer? How would WWE have been in the 2000s if WCW had competitive ownership? Well, it would have lasted because the Attitude Era was... I mean, the only thing I would say is that with WCW, they were in decline before they actually go out of business. So, you know, the tide turns... and they are struggling, and then they go out of business 2001. So if they were to continue, there's no reason to believe that they wouldn't just continue to struggle. If you start going on a bit of a downward trend, it's really hard to pull the plane up, right? We've gone commercial break. So if you start going on a downward slope, it's really hard to kind of get it back. So, I mean, if you look at AEW right now, their ratings have gone down. I mean, how are they going to pull the plane up? How is AEW going to get back to 1 million in ratings? I mean, it just seems very, very difficult for them to be able to do that from where they are. Not impossible, but, well, I'd ask the question again, how? I mean, they'd probably have to go to a different network that really believed in them. But the catch is that you need the numbers for the network to be interested. If you're delivering numbers of 500,000 views... then why would a big network be interested in you? I mean, it could be true. You could go onto that network and do better, but it's a vicious circle, isn't it? Really. So yeah, it's a tricky one. So with WCW, their views were going down, the quality of the product was going down, and it had been for a good. Well, 2000 was atrocious. 99 has its struggles. So you know everything's declining. Had that have continued, I don't really see a reason as to why it would just magically come back up again. Obviously, something could have got hot and, you know, could have had a little bump. But I think the truth is that had it have continued, it would have just fizzled out a bit further down the roads. You know, rather than it going out in 01, it might have gone out in 03, it might have gone out in 05. And the bigger distance you get between WCW and WWE, the less that WWE are going to care about it. Just like now, how, you know, I'm sure they do care about AEW, but I don't think they care about them like they did 5 years ago. So, if it had continued, I think it would have continued with its decline. I think it would have probably flatlined. I think it would have eventually fizzled out. I think WWE still would have been competitive. We still would have had an Attitude Era that probably would have gone longer. But I think as that distance grew, I think you would have found that WWE would have just sort of gone, that's sort of done now. And we probably would have moved into maybe a Ruthless Aggression Era at some point. Or maybe we would have just gone straight from Attitude Era to PG. I think that switch to PG would have still happened. Because PG is about trying to reach as many people as possible. So I think that would have still happened. But maybe there wouldn't have been a Ruthless Aggression Era. You still would have had Cena and all of those. But perhaps that Attitude Era tag, label, would have just carried on longer. So, honestly, I don't really foresee there being like a massive difference. I think you would have needed WCW to have picked the plane back up, and it's really unlikely to have seen them doing that. Shoulder up there by Callie. We are back to the action. We've got, how long we got? We've only got 4 minutes left. So right now we got Callie, Carmen, Callie is in the middle of the ring. It's had a nice pace to it, this. So we have had a commercial interruption, but we are back with it now for the final 4 minutes. Callie with Carmen. She's got her on her shoulder. Looking to drive her over. Around the back, roll up there by Carmen. 1, 2. Kick out by Callie. Picks her up. Oh, look at that. Lovely slam. Got her down. Going over against the rope. She's picking up speeds. Carmen gets her. Whoa. Manages to avoid getting collided into. Lovely kick. Love that kick. Going back again. Going for it again. A second. Oh, my God. She got that really nice. 2, 3. I'm so glad that got the finish, you know. I'm so glad that got the finish because that second kick looked brutal. The first one connected, looked good. That second one, it seemed to like drag Callie's head down to the mat. And Carmen Petrovic picks up the victory. Dare I say a bit of a shock victory. So Callie down. Look at that. Bang. Slammed her down. So that last match you said was good. 98. Get your thoughts in for this one. How long? We've got a couple of moments left to go. We've just got a minute or 2 left. Carmen's just going to say a few words. Listen. Tyra May Steele was watching on. Kendall Gray, I got next. Kendall Gray's coming out, actually. Kendall Gray is coming out. She's coming out with a microphone, so Kendall has got a few words. Next week. I think we could be looking at a new champ next week. I think we could seriously be looking at a new champ next week. They've just given Carmen Petrovic a big win over Callie. And now immediately next week we're doing another title match. It's going to be a nightmare for those boys next week. This is Team PC. Okay, there we go. That was Evolve. And not bad, to be honest. I mean, we started with a championship match. Carmen Petrovic picking up a big win in that main event. I do struggle with the IDPC stuff personally. I just don't find that story to be very engaging. But, you know, it is what it is. And it's fine. We've been telling it for a little while now. Seems like we're going to tell it for a little while longer. But yeah, it is. That little tarot thing was really fun. I thought that was great. So there was definitely worth a watch this week. Not like an amazing episode. Not the kind of episode that I think, you know, people need to rush out to watch. But as a little 40-odd minute thing on a Wednesday. Great, yeah. Nice. Do we think in life, if you're smaller than your competition, it's hard to get eyes no matter what you do? AEW, there's nothing realistically they can do to overcome WWE. Yeah, well, I think it is. I mean, it is hard if you're smaller and you've got like kind of less exposure. Your social media's not as big. Your fan base isn't as big. Your views aren't as big. I mean, yeah, if you are just smaller because you've obviously started more recently and, you know, you've started... where at a time where WWE have got such a strong like monopoly in the wrestling world. Yeah, of course, definitely. This is why when they first started, that's when WWE needed to cause the most pain. Because if AEW had got a foothold and had got attention and, you know, really like got momentum, who knows where they could have got to. But WWE did every trick they could to make life as hard as they could, so that when AEW first started, it meant that they kind of leveled off at like that 800,000 range. I mean, if WWE had just completely got out the way, maybe it would have leveled off around 1 million, or just over 1 million. Maybe that would have given AEW a foothold to then potentially, you know, see a bit more growth. Perhaps the drop-off now wouldn't have been as extreme. Kind of where you start dictates, you know, where you're going to go after that. And so for them to settle down at that sort of 800,000, 850,000 range, we've seen a few times they've managed to get to 1 million, but really what's happened is that they've just declined down and down and down to like 500,000 now. If they were to have started at more like 1 million rather than 800,000, their decline now would likely mean they would be at about 700,000 now, which would mean right now they would be ahead of NXT, and they would be not a million miles away from SmackDown. If you think about it, SmackDown tends to do about 1 million, 1.1 now with the new ratings. So if AEW were on 700,000, they'd be a much bigger problem for WWE right now, and, you know, recent years than they actually are. I mean, where we are right now is SmackDown's doing about 1 million, 1.1 million. I mean, during the European tour, it was getting 900 and some thousand, but that is because it was a tape show that was being shown on USA Network. So the fact that WWE were able to cause some early pain, get that number down as low as they possibly could, get it settled at about the 800,000 range for AEW, means that they've now lost about 300,000 viewers. They're bobbing around 550, 500,000 for Dynamite now, and they are below NXT on a regular basis, when the alternative is they could have been above NXT and closer to the numbers that SmackDown's delivering. So I think that, it is difficult. It is hard. It's difficult to see how they're going to turn it around and start climbing back up again. I mean, really, you need stars, star power, stories that people care about. Things like Tony Storm, right? Great. But you sort of need that in the men's division, top end of the card, really compelling characters, stories, needs to really connect and resonate in a way that like the NWO did, in a way that John Cena did. You know, they need some of that level. They need some that is like industry era defining. You go back to the 90s, you think of NWO. You go back to, you know, the Attitude Era, you think about Stone Cold and The Rock and Stone Cold McMahon, that story in particular. Go to the Ruthless Aggression, you think of John Cena. Go to recent times, you'll think of Bloodline. AEW need to find one of those industry-defining, era-defining stories or characters or whatever, so that they can start seeing growth again. But that is easier said than done, isn't it? I mean, you will try 1 million different things and fail, all trying to find that one thing that connects and clicks. And, you know, they've had some successes. I mean, MJF's a great talent. Tony Storm's been great, but they haven't found that one thing yet that I think you could really say has been era-defining. I mean, you can say about them they have regular good matches, and they've got a good roster, and they're a good alternative to WWE. But have they had that industry-defining, era-defining storyline? I don't think so. I couldn't tell you what it is. If they have, it doesn't jump to my mind. So that's what they would need, and as we said, easier said than done. But it is more challenging, of course. It is. They've got less exposure, less social media. A lot of people, when they think wrestling, they think WWE. Do you know what I mean? Like that sort of brand awareness. WWE's brand is so strong that they can announce WrestleMania and sell out before they've even announced the match. That's how strong WWE's control of the pro wrestling world is. WrestleMania is just a whole brand in its own right, same as Royal Rumble. You know, these are just big things just that live on their own. But then you've got like WWE and, you know, John Cena, The Rock. People, I mean, The Rock is like the most followed American male on Instagram, I think. And obviously his connections with WWE are iron. He's on the board of TKO right now. And so, you know, all of these things are things that AEW don't have. So, yeah, it's difficult. If you think like the biggest thing AEW could have done was bring Punk in, but he didn't do anything for the casuals. Might have tuned in more for WWE for Punk than AEW for Punk. Yeah, I think the AEW Punk thing, I mean, that was probably their big play, you're right. And that was probably their big moments. But did they capitalize on it correctly? You know, did they find the right feuds, the right stories? I think that moment of him coming in is probably their biggest era-defining moment. But did they follow it up? Because he was on the show and things were good and the ratings were strong, but, you know, where was the story? What was the story? What was the really compelling story that they told? And then, of course, he leaves and then goes to WWE and... you know, that was that. So, again, it's not a knock of AEW. We're just being honest about where they are and what they would need to get back to where they were. And that's going to be a very difficult thing for them to do. Putting on great matches alone, you can say they've been doing that since their inception, and it's not been enough. So, there is something to be said for the yeeting and the entrances and building up stars and star power. You know, there's a lot to be said for the sizzle as well as the steak. And so I think that AEW probably do quite well with the steak, the actual match quality, you know, the reason for, you know, tuning in, wrestling. But all that sort of other stuff, the character work, the presentation and... you know, kind of really invested in entrances and everything. I mean, I don't know where they are with that now. They might have made movement on that, but that felt like an area that could have been improved when I was watching. So anyway, I need to go. Things to do like Unseen and whatnot. So appreciate people joining us as always. Hope you enjoyed Evolve. I thought it was pretty fun. We'll be back on Friday we'll be back tomorrow for a member stream and at the Wrestling Escape Pods. Back on Friday for SmackDown. And of course, this weekend, Saturday night's main event. So awesome. Main event got good 100%. So it does seem like people enjoyed that as well. And yeah, I will see you again next time